to you. What do you got for us?
Well, good morning, first of all, to you guys. But obviously, a lot of speculation during the course of the last week about the status of Georgia star running back Trevor Etienne heading into the Bulldogs season opener against Clemson. Have been told this morning that Trevor is, in fact, expected to sit in this game as a result of his offseason arrest, which is an unfortunate development for Georgia, especially factoring in that their leading returning rusher, Roger Robinson, was already set to miss this game due to an injury.
All right, guys, breaking news from Matt Zenitz. Matt, any other updates that are notable before we dive a little bit deeper into what to expect from the Georgia Bulldogs?
Well, Saturday mornings are always eventful, so a couple of things to go along with. The status of Trevor Etienne, there were some unsettled quarterback competitions coming into the day. I don't have a clear answer yet on the biggest one with Michigan, but have been told this morning that Northwestern is expected to start Mike Wright at quarterback in its season opening game against Miami of Ohio. People may remember Mike Wright from being a starter at Vanderbilt and then starting 3 games last year at Mississippi State. And then to go along with that, Maryland, which opens up today against UConn, is expected to start Billy Edwards at quarterback. Billy was the backup for Talia Tagovailoa last year and accounted for 8 touchdowns last season, including 7 rushing touchdowns. But he's expected to get the start today for Maryland.
Matt Zenitz joining us here for a first update of our 3-hour pregame coverage on HQ. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's go ahead and check in Atlanta, where we have our own 24/7 sports team reporter, Jordan Hill. Jordan, a ton of excitement, curiosity surrounding this game to see what both programs really look like. One of the biggest differences between the two is the amount of players they brought in through the transfer portal. Clemson with 0, while the Bulldogs added 9, and no secret, the most impactful and hyped up of those additions is former Florida running back Trevor Etienne, who now we are learning, breaking news, that he is out for today's game. What's your reaction to this?
You know, we're not surprised. It's a situation we've been monitoring throughout this week. There was a good sense that he was probably going to be suspended. Kirby Smart was not going to announce that. They like to keep those decisions internal, but it's been an opportunity. Some of the other running backs, and it's going to be something to watch on Saturday against a really good Clemson team. You know, the guys I'm watching, Branson Robinson, a guy coming off a torn patellar tendon last fall camp. Looking at Cap Jones, a walk-on junior who played quite a bit last year at the start of the season as Georgia dealt with injury. And then Nate Frazier, a big-time 4-star freshman, really impressed during fall camp. This is news to us on Saturday morning, but it's something we have known as a possibility, so I know the Bulldogs will be prepared.
Jordan, thanks so much for the insight live for us out in Atlanta, as we got a good one on tap between Clemson and the #1 team in the nation. Let's go ahead and turn things back to our set here. Danny, I'm coming to you first. With all of this news now coming out, what does this Georgia Bulldogs offense look like without Trevor Etienne?
It'll look less. There's not going to be as much firepower, right? But it's not like they're going to struggle. This is still Georgia we're talking about. Nate Frazier, the name that you just heard there, was a 5-star running back who's coming in. And it's not like Kirby Smart decided this morning, what am I going to do with Trevor Etienne? He has known this for quite a while. So those young backs are going to have all the reps at practice. They're going to be prepped. They're going to be prepared. But it still is a youth movement here. So you don't know how young players are going to respond that haven't played a ton. But the advantage is they have a veteran quarterback in Carson Beck, and they got a loaded offensive line. So it should be a pretty smooth transition.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it'll be a smooth transition. You have to have the next man up mentality. Obviously, Etienne, they knew for a while that there was a possibility that he may not be available for this game. So all the young guys behind him, they've got to step up. They've got to get those reps. They've got to be in the film room. They've got to do everything they can to be ready for a big moment like this. You're starting the season. Granted, it's not like we said, we're expecting Georgia to handle business in this game, but you're playing a tough Clemson team, and it's going to be a tough challenge. So I hope to see these young guys step up and be ready.
Always a ton of anxiety going into week 1, going to your first game. Obviously a good opponent if you're Georgia, but a ton of continuity there. Returning 14 starters, 7 all-conference players, and both coordinators. So that's a big, huge weapon for a team coming into week 1. So I know Etienne will be out, but I'm not worried about these dogs.
All right, well, still with this shorthanded running back situation, Georgia a double-digit favorite in this one. Just quickly, Danny, you taking them to cover?
I kind of like Clemson in this one. It's a lot of points.
It is.
Top 25 matchup, yeah.